Okay, so today we're going to be doing equations for proportional relationships. All week we have been doing proportional things like unit rates, ratios. They're all connected and they're all basically done the same way. So in lesson 6, you learned about proportional relationships and how they are represented on a graph. In this lesson, you're going to learn how to write equations. The table shows that the number of people who can ride a roller coaster depends on the number of cars on that roller coaster. So it says how many people can ride in one car. Okay, well, what I need to do, since I'm trying to figure out how many can ride in one car, I'm going to do is I'm going to find the unit rate. So I'm going to make this an x, I'm going to make this a y, because I know y always goes over x. So my first ratio would be 18 over 3. 18 over 3 equals 6. So that's my unit rate. So for every 6 people, I need 1 cart. So 1 cart will be 6 people. If I had 10 carts, I'd just multiply by 6, and that would be 60. Okay, first one says, find the ratio of the number of people to the number of roller coasters. Cars. So that's what I did down here. The next one says, are the ratios of the number of people to the number of roller coaster cars in a proportional relationship? Explain your reasoning. So what we're going to do is we're going to say yes, because each ratio is equal to 6. So what I mean by that is my first ratio is 18 over 3. My next one is 30 over 5, which equals 6. And the one after that is 36 over 6, which equals 6. And then 48 over 8, which equals 6. So since they all equal the same thing, that means they all have the same ratio, or the constant rate, which is 6. So it says how many people can ride in one car? 6 people. What is the constant proportionality for the data in the table? 6. We're going to be repeating ourselves a lot. It says explain how you can find the number of people that can ride in a roller coaster with 10 cars. So you multiply the number of cars by 6, the constant proportionality. So that means it would be 60 people. So my equation would be y is equal to 6 times x. Because if I take any x, multiply by 6, it gives me the number of people. That's it. Okay, so let's find out more. So it says the problem on the previous page is shown using a table. You can also represent this situation with both a graph and an equation. Each representation, you can identify the constant proportionality. The graph represents the problem in the previous page. The constant proportionality is the unit rate, or the value of y when x equals 1, which is 6. So it means that it's going up at the same pace. So 1 is 6, 2 is 12, 3 is 18, 4 is 24, and so on. But the biggest thing is it has to go through the origin. The origin is 0, 0. Okay, explain how the constant proportionality is represented in the table, the equation, and the graph of the roller coaster situation. So what I would say is a constant proportionality is a unit rate, or the value of y when x equals 1. In the table, find an equivalent ratio with a denominator of 1. On a graph, find the y value for the point 1y, and an equation when x equals 1. Basically, I'll show you different tactics on how to find the table and graph, things like that. It just has to do with a lot of ratios and dividing. So Jesse is making punch. For every 3 cups of juice, he needs 6 cups of seltzer. Represent the proportional relationship using a table, a graph, and an equation, and identify the constant proportionality. What does the constant proportionality represent in this situation? So my first ratio is 2 to 1. This usually is my x and that's my y, but I'm actually going to make this my y and it's my x, because I'm comparing juice to seltzer. Since I'm comparing juice to seltzer, that means, or seltzer to juice, that means seltzer will go on top. So 2 to 1 equals 2. Or 4 over 2 equals 2. Or 6 over 3 equals 2. So it means for every 2 cups of seltzer, I need 1 cup of juice. And so the equation would be y is equal to 2x. So 2 is my constant, as we have found before. And on the graph, you just plug it, you just plot the points. Okay, in the table on the previous page, what does 2 over 1 represent in terms of the problem? It represents for every 1 cup of juice, you need 2 cups of seltzer, hence 2/1. What does the 0.24 represent in the graph? It will represent 2 cups of juice, 4 cups of seltzer. Okay. Which point of the graph can be used to find the constant proportionality? Well, anywhere where x equals 1. So the constant proportionality is the y value of the point when the x value is 1. So 1, 2 is on the graph. So the constant proportionality is 2. Personally, I don't like doing it like that. I just like defining a ratio like 4/2 equals 2 and dividing it. Use a constant proportionality to write an equation to represent the number of cups of seltzer you need cups of juice. I'm going to use y and x as we just did before. So it'd be y is equal to 2x. Use the equation in your row to find how many seltzer you need for 15 cups of juice. So you would just do y is equal to 2 times 15, which equals 30. So you need 30 cups of juice. Excuse me, you need 30 cups of seltzer when you use 15 cups of juice. For a different punch recipe, the equation is S equals 4C, represents the number of cups of seltzer, S, and the number of cups of cranberry juice. What's the constant proportionality? Well, the way that you find the constant proportionality in the equation, best thing you do, just look at the number. The number is 4, so that means that's your constant. 4. For each cup of cranberry juice, you need 4 cups of seltzer. The unit rate is 4, which is the constant proportionality. Best thing to look at it, you have this equation, y is equal to 4x. The number in front of the x will always be your constant proportionality. Okay, Kelsey can buy 2 pounds of apples for $7. Write an equation to represent the cost. So what we're going to do is we're going to find the constant proportionality. So it'd be 7/2, which is 3.5. Since my constant, I know my equation would be y is equal to 3.5x, which is B. The equation M is equal to 32 times G represents the average number of miles that a car can go on gallons of gas. What's a constant? Well, they give you the equation M equals 32 times G. 32 is your constant. That's your homework. So I know there's a lot of information, but it builds upon what we've been doing all week. Remember, finding the constant proportionality from the equation, it's always a number in front of the x or just a number in front. Thank you, guys.